Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Good
afternoon.
morning.
Good morning.
Isn't it good afternoon by now? It is
Good
good
Yeah.
afternoon.
afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Good morning, me.
Okay. It is recording now.
Recording.
Yep.
Oh, let's give them some time to join.
We will start at 1:05.
Yes.
Yeah, would be perfect.
Okay. That's good.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
How's everyone doing? I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're doing good.
Abdulsalam, if you'd share your screen.
Yes.
Right, so we're gonna start at 1:05.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Should be in. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. Oh,
Do I have to put the background or is that not
No,
needed?
No,
it's not
just for the
necessary.
chairs. You don't even have to open your cam.
No, okay. But by the way, I'm not in a suit or a dish dash. Is
Oh,
that
no, no.
okay?
No need, no need.
That's totally fine.
Not now, delegate. You're
Just a tape.
required to wear that inside the conference.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll begin. Good afternoon and welcome, dear delegates, to the 5th annual AZPSMUN. Before we start, me and my fellow colleagues would like to welcome the following schools: AIS, IAS, RISS, RAIS, WWS, Al-Wahda, Grammar School, As-Siddiq, Rosary, Al-Kamal, and AZPS. Model United Nations, or MUN for short, is a simulation of the real UN. You'll take the place of a delegate of a country or an international organization. The aim of the council is to find a solution to the problems you'll be given as topics before your conference, just like in the real UN. You'll have the chance to draft resolutions and find lasting solutions to some important issues today, like the disarmament of nuclear weapons and child labor, and mark the aim of the United Nations in real life is to prevent conflicts and promote international cooperation. It's a forum for countries to express their views and make decisions together. To do this, there are numerous organs in the UN, such as the World Health Organization and General Assembly, and Disarmament and International Security Committee, and many more in MUN. You'll get a chance to try to be part of this resolution, in which we have set rules and guidelines that are identical to the ones in the United Nations. Yeah.
Does any delegate have a question regarding the introduction?
No questions so far. Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Guys, I think what would be perfect is at any time, if you have a question, you would send it into the chat, and then by the time the Q&A comes, you would ask the question.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so as you know, in every MUN, there are some rules and regulations we have to go through. Some of them, and here are some of them. So first of all, personal pronouns, as in I, we, our, and etc., are prohibited during the session time, except in an unmoderated caucus, which we'll get to later on. Everyone must remain formal in the session.
Everyone must act appropriately and respect others.
And any misbehavior won't be tolerated, and it will affect you negatively.
Delegates have to act kindly and courteously towards other delegates without violating personal boundaries of others. For example, racism, discrimination, hate speech, and false information, and sexual harassment, both verbally and physically.
And flirting is strictly prohibited.
And excuse me, just a quick question.
Yes.
If personal pronouns are prohibited, we should refer ourselves constantly by our countries?
You can state yourself by, for example, the delegate of, the republic of, the country of. Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
Okay, then continue.
Okay. As you may know, in every event we have photographers. AZPSMUN authorized media staff is permitted to photograph and take videos for participants and delegates. AZPSMUN media members have the right to publish and share such photographs and videos on the official AZPSMUN platforms, such as YouTube channels, Instagram, and many more.
AZPS, MUN, media staff are the only members authorized to enter a committee for the purpose of taking photographs or videos. In other words, chairs or delegates are not allowed to take photographs or videos inside of the session time.
AZPSMUN staff members will not be held liable for any offense taken from posts and or shares of any its social media platforms. For example, if a delegate takes a photo of another delegate and shares it on his page, we will not be held liable for that photo. Dress code. All delegates must be in a proper attire.
Suits with a tie or candolas for men.
Now with the position paper on safe.
Now, so for the position paper. So what is the position paper? A position paper is kind of a short paper that includes the background information about the topic being discussed, your country's stand/position on the issue, and possible solutions. You can think of it as a proper essay, short essay, that you will write discussing about your country's stance on the issues being discussed or the topics and the possible solutions that your country has proposed. And then writing the position paper is required for all delegates. Whichever committee you are in, you are required to write the position paper. And it will also better enhance your understanding of your country's policies. If you don't submit it on time, it will negatively affect you. Points will be deducted, and also you will not be able to win any award at the end of the MUN. So what does a position paper do? First off, it officially states a country's position, and then it evaluates the quality of a delegate's research. And it also helps moderates to understand the general flow of the debate. So a position paper should include the following. First off, you should write about a brief introduction about the committee. You can write about your country's position and a brief introduction about the committee on what you learned or what you know about the topics from your country's standpoint. And of course, about the background of the topics. You should know about the topics, you should research about them, but you should not plagiarize at all. And about the country's position depending on country's policies and previous actions toward the issues. So on this point, you should talk about your country's policies on what it had done previously. And of course, you can talk about what your country wants to do on the international level. And of course, lastly, you should talk about the possible solutions that your country has proposed to solve the issues or the topics being discussed. And now for the format. So for the perfect position paper, the header or the background should be 20%. For the introduction of the country's position, it will be 40%. And now for the body or the possible solutions, it will also be 40%. This is the perfect formatting, but you should not follow it exactly. This is just an approximate. And now for the formatting and the structure of the position paper. So for the formatting, the font style should be Times New Roman. The font size should be 12, all text including heading. And then the maximum word limit will be 900, excluding bibliography or the resources. There should be no graphs, no tables, or pictures in the position paper, only the text. Plagiarism is only allowed from 3 to 5%, and that's it. And then the deadline for the submission is from the 25th to the 27th of January. And now, as you can see in front of you, in the beginning, he wrote about the structure. So here we have the committee, and then he wrote about the committee's name. And then for the topic and the topics being discussed, we have 2 topics in our MUN. So you should write both of the topics. And then the country, and the country allocated to you by your chairs, delegate and your name, and then represented by and your school name. Here, as an example, he wrote Al-Zuhur Private School. And in the position paper, this is just extra stuff, but you will need to know it. You should not use personal pronouns like I. You should talk about your country using your country's name. And you should defend your country. You should not go against your country at all. And of course, you should abide by your country's rules and policies. And that's it for the position paper. Please, if you have any question, go ahead and ask.
Okay, may I ask a question, please?
Sure thing.
Yes.
So suppose that we are during a conference, debate conference, and we had the pronoun limit that we, for example, we cannot state I and such.
Yeah.
What should I like propose myself? Like what
Right.
pronouns should I use during the conference meeting?
So let's say you're the delegate of France.
Yes.
Should use the pronoun of the delegate of France. For an example, the delegate of France would like to speak.
That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I have another question.
We really don't mind if you keep using the delegate of France, but if you want a variety, you can go ahead and be using the delegate of France, the country of France, the delegation of France, all works.
Okay, I understand. Thank you very
Just
much.
don't mention I, you, we.
Can we submit it like before 25th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the opening, the submission for the position paper is open. As
You can
long
submit it
as you don't
whenever you
submit
want.
it after the 27th. You submit it after the 27th, you'll be facing some problems with the marks.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on the floor?
Excuse me?
Yes.
I do have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What do you exactly mean by 3 to 5% plagiarism?
We
So
should
there
not,
is,
your position paper should not include any plagiarism more than 3 to 5%. There are websites that you can check using this. For most of the position paper, you should research, but you should not just copy paste. Like let's say you went to a
Is like
course.
quotation marks like needed?
Sorry.
No, not necessarily quotation marks. Basically, what we mean by plagiarism is you're not allowed to copy.
Okay, thank you.
So you're allowed to go search the internet and be like, oh, well, France has, for example, as my colleague has said, France, let's take France into consideration. France has an effect on money laundering, for example, 25%, and would like, so you can't copy paste the same exact word. You have to at least add your touch, add a change. So
Let's
it doesn't have to be-
rephrase.
And paraphrase it.
Yes.
Rephrase
And
it.
of course, you should use credible resources.
Yes, that's the most important thing.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
The question is like you say like I should stay with my country. I shouldn't be against my country.
Yes.
Yeah.
But can I be like against my country? Why not? Because some students like in the immune they are against their country.
No, see, basically, you are defending your country. You're the delegate of a country. You should be defending that country. Other delegates will try to attack you, and you should defend your country at all points. That's the main point of the MUN.
Delegates, you're highly prohibited from attacking your country. The moment you attack your country, you're not only losing points, you may face elimination too, because
Yes.
you are attacking your country, and that's not something you're allowed to do. What you're given the country not to attack it, you're supposed to defend it.
Your
Because an MUN is basically we're giving you a country, and for example, you are as if you're acting like the prime minister of the country. So I don't think any prime minister would act against his country.
Yeah, exactly. As
You're
stated in the
essentially the
introduction.
ambassador of your country.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're just like an ambassador, and all your country has full power in you, not for you to attack.
As stated in the introduction, the purpose of the MUN, which comes from the United Nations, is to find a solution to your country and a lasting one. That's the purpose.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes.
Where do we submit the letter?
The position paper.
According to your committee. So, for example, your DISEC, GA, UNICEF, UNODC. Depending on the email you've received, you send it back to the same email.
Okay.
So we send it as a reply to the given email.
Yes, we'll probably send you the emails on the group chat soon.
I have a question.
Yes.
The true meeting for the MUN is in February, but what if someone has COVID-19 and they're not allowed to leave their home?
For that, we still don't have any idea about it, but probably
For
online meeting.
Actually, for such thing, we've took that into consideration, and we have thought of it. And whoever has a COVID-19, he will be pulled over to online. He will still attend, but he will be attending it online.
Okay, thank you.
All delegates are required to submit a PCR or a vaccination report to Miss Russia.
Other questions?
Yeah, I just have one question.
Yes.
What exactly are we going to be debating about? Because you said that we will be debating with the other delegates, right? So are we going to be like debating about the resolution, like the possible resolution that the committee will be adopting?
You have the delegates have sent the chairs. Sorry, they have sent you emails and their guidebooks. Every committee has its own guidebook and has their own topic. So, for example, DISEC is talking about cybersecurity and the disarmament of nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. And other committees are talking about other stuff, just like GA, they're talking about money laundering, and UNODC are talking about money laundering too. So each committee has their own topic they will be tackling and debating on.
Now, also, you can take debating. We can make an example. So, for example, this is for later on, you'll be knowing what's yielding. If I have wanted to yield my time for questions, for example, let's say my colleague Seifai is the delegate of Japan and I'm USA, and he would target me with a question with, how is USA solving the following case? And I would reply with it, and then that's how a debate would normally start. And sometimes a debate, the chairs would see the debate like there's no time for a debate, or the debate doesn't interest us. So that's when we would start to close it up and move into the next topic.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I would like to add an extra point. In the position paper, you should write about information that is relevant with the topics. In the MUN, you will be debating about the topics being given to you by your chairs, and only that. And there's a resolution paper, but we will talk about that later. But now for the position paper, you should only talk about the topics. You should not talk about any irrelevant information. Also, in the MUN, you should not debate about any irrelevant information. If you do that, we will stop you and tell you that this information is relevant, and we will stop you from continuing on.
Just another question then. Are we allowed to like have some device with us while we're here?
Yes,
Yes,
your
of course.
laptops will be with you or
Definitely.
your iPads.
A question I have been asked many times. If you're allowed to have your position paper in front of you or read from it. Well, a position paper is made for such thing. So you're allowed to have your position paper in order for you to read from it, have points. You can have either your laptop, the actual paper, whatever suits you, whatever makes you comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
Any other
further
questions?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
How do we add the references in the position paper?
So for that, you're just gonna cite which website you used. So for example, a website that ended with gov for government, you're just gonna use that and put it in your position paper and just add that this is my sites or something like the resources that I have used.
You're
And
highly prohibited from using non-reliable resources also,
yes,
such as .com, Wikipedia, .net,
.net.
BBC, France News. These are all not allowed to be used as actual resource. The only resources you're allowed to use is .gov. Um, Anything that doesn't end with the things I've stated, and I have sent. I think all the companies also have sent the message where with what it's allowed and what it's not allowed.
Government websites and educational websites and many more that are reliable.
That also include YouTube videos. Those are not allowed.
Yes, they're not
Okay,
reliable.
thank you.
Just one question regarding the references. Are websites that end with .org accepted as a reliable resource?
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
That is all mentioned in the documents we sent on the emails.
We'll make sure also, I think you haven't seen the message. We'll probably resend it, the message with what is acceptable and what's not.
Yes, I have indeed saw that message, but it didn't include .org. So I just wanted to ask in order to clarify for me.
No problem at all. And also, we'll be sending this PowerPoint and also the recording in the groups. And also, we'll be sending another position paper sample, which has 2 topics, so you know exactly what to do.
I have a question. Oh, shit.
Yes.
Assalamu
Alaikum assalam. Sure.
What is MUN? I just joined.
The meeting is recorded and we will send this meeting, so you can double check
I
that.
think Yazan would answer that perfectly since he's here at the introduction.
Okay, so as stated in the introduction, MUN or Model United Nations comes from the UN, which finds lasting solutions and resolutions to a country. For example, if France has an issue with nuclear weapons, you need to find a solution for that. That's the purpose of the MUN.
Any other thing?
Further questions? Hello. No.
Just one last one. So there are a couple of topics in our, let's say, like the UNODOC committee. So are we supposed to make a position paper for each, or is it one position paper that covers all of those topics?
One position paper that covers 2 topics which have been given to you by your committee.
Oh, okay.
And you're also allowed to either merge both topics, or if you'd like to set them separately, both ways.
Yes.
Also, we're allowed to merge 2 topics in one position paper.
Yes,
Yeah.
for example, DA as the topics are money laundering and how school turned into a business. You're allowed, like, because I'm allowing you guys to manage both topics.
Yeah, but for dissect, we recommend talking about the topics separately because it's not kind of related.
They're not related.
So it's better to just talk about this and then talk about the other topic.
So each one we will write 900 words like that, or is it
No,
that's
one
the maximum
paper.
limit.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Any other?
Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, my country maybe it has the negative side more. So what I should do?
Basically, what you would do, for example, let's take Syria into consideration. Now, if we take Syria, I mean, when you're given a very hard country such as Syria, that's how you know you're being acted upon as being very professional, very into the topic, because Syria is not a very easy country. Sincerely, because it's a more bad than a good part.
So you say I should defend to my country, and then you say show the problems for the country.
You're supposed to defend your country at all.
Defend it, not show the problems.
And I show the problems for my country. Yes.
You're supposed. What you could do is show the problems and show what are the solutions you've done to fix the problems. So that's how you show you're trying.
So the problems will be the negative side for the. I'm against my country when I show problems.
You're not supposed to give it out there as in, oh well, look at me, I am having this problem. You're supposed to point it out there as in, we had this problem and we found a solution and we fixed it. That's how you're supposed to point it out there. It's more of showing that you're knowing what to do, rather than just pointing out the mistake. I hope you understood what I said.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
One question: are we supposed to attack other countries?
Yes,
or not?
it's a debate. It's the sole reason why the MUN is a thing.
An advice from an experienced person here: never attack someone on the first day.
Yes, just play defensive on the first
You
day.
will face a lot of attacking points the next day. So, as an advice, don't do that.
But you will gain extra points.
Oh,
Unless-
definitely, you
yeah.
will gain extra points, but you will have to think of the next day. That's a
And how many
termination.
people will attack you?
Okay.
Okay.
The first day
Now
is
we'll
just like
move on.
observing.
Let's move on.
Okay, roll call. Roll call is basically like attendance. You're either present or present on voting. If you are not there during the roll call, you'll either be put as late or as absent. Next slide. The roll call will go down a list of countries in alphabetical order, and we will call each country out to know their position, present or present on voting. Now, to know the difference between present and present on voting, you should know the two types of votings. You have procedural and substantive votes. Substantive votes are for things like resolution papers and amendments. During these votes, delegates can either be against, with, or abstain. Delegates who are present and voting cannot abstain during substantive votes. While delegates who are only present, they can abstain. Procedural votes, on the other hand, you cannot abstain from, and it's just a majority vote to see whether a motion can pass or will be denied.
All right. Now for the voting. Procedural voting is all voting excluding the final voting on amendments and draft resolutions. Yes or no abstentions are not in order. Observer states can participate in this voting procedure. As for substantive voting, amendments and draft resolutions, yes, no, or abstain are allowed. Observer states cannot participate in this voting procedure. As for roll call voting, you can motion for this when voting on amendments and draft resolutions. Chair will call countries in alphabetical order, starting with randomly selected country. Yes, no, abstain, or pass. Passing is only in order in the first round. Every delegate will stand up and state the full name of his or her delegation and its vote. Now, as for the voting procedures, it usually takes place during motions and resolutions. It will help decide if the motion or resolution will pass or fail. The delegates can either vote for or vote against or abstain from voting.
Any questions?
I didn't quite get the entire idea of the voting procedure entirely. So if you could please clarify it, that would be really good.
Any specific questions about it?
Like how do they work? What are the steps or something? Yeah, I didn't get some parts of it in terms of voting and the procedure and the types. You know?
Okay, so starting with the types, there is present and present in voting. So regarding the present, you're mostly present. You won't be able to vote for many motions and points, but the present and voting, you can vote for nearly everything. And it's preferably to go with present and voting because it will just help you in general. And it's just there. I don't know
You
if
will have
I'm
more
making
say
sense
on
of way.
what you
Yeah.
want to happen.
So
And
it's
for
is it your choice to choose
yes,
between the
it
two?
is your choice.
Yes, yes, yes.
When you first join the session, we will call you by your country name, and you're gonna tell us if you want to be present or present and voting.
And after that, if you're present and voting, you will have the option to vote. If you're just present, you won't be able to vote. You will just be standby.
Yes. And regarding those procedures of voting types, you have the procedural voting and the substantial voting. The procedural voting, it's just like all voting are excluded, and no way, all voting excluding the final voting on amendments and draft resolutions. You'll vote for yes or no, but regarding the substantial voting, you can't vote unless you are present and voting. But in the procedural voting, you can vote if you are present or present and voting.
Also, one thing I would like to add, procedural voting is like about the workflow of the meeting, and like if you want to give time to someone else voting on which country to speak and like that kind of stuff. While substantive voting is about making resolutions with other countries and like coming up with solutions and voting on them.
Any other questions? Okay. So now regarding motions, we have a set of motions in every UN. We're going to start with setting the agenda, opening the speaker list, moderated caucus and unmoderated caucus, adjourning the meeting, motion to recess the meeting, move to voting procedure, and lastly, motion to move back to the general speakers list. So we're going to start off with the motion to set the agenda. This is the first motion that will happen in every session. This motion will help us start the topic for the debate. It requires a simple majority to pass. 2 speakers for and 2 speakers against the topic proposed. Motions to set the agenda on topic A, followed by topic B. And lastly, voting will then take place, and if it will pass or fail accordingly. Safe?
General speakers list. Raised after the motion is set and the agenda passes. The delegate to raise this motion shall be asked whether he or she wants to speak first or last with the informing a certain topic and time. The list never elapses and can be resumed at the will of the committee. Back to the voting procedures. Delegates can be added more than once to the list if they wish to. After the agenda has been set, it helps start the debate formally. Yielding. At the end of a speech, delegates must yield the remainder of their time if any time is available. These are how you do so. Yield their time to the chair, yield their time to questions, or yield their time to another delegate, which has to be an ally.
Motion to move to a moderated caucus. It's raised to discuss a subtopic of the main committee's topic. So in DASIC's case, cybersecurity, the delegate must specify topic to be discussed, the duration of the caucus, individual speaking time, so 5, 10, 20 minutes, requires simple majority to pass. Time can be extended by follow-up motion or by the chairs if he or she sees the topic relevant or interesting. Motion to move to unmoderated caucus requires a simple majority to pass, raised to discuss and draft the final resolution paper, which we'll get into later. The chairs will set the total duration of the unmoderated caucus, so it's not voted by the delegates. Usually, delegates will use this time to write up resolutions, clauses, etc.
Motion to adjourn the meeting. Raised at the end of each session requires a simple majority to pass, and the reason for adjourning the meeting is stated and voted upon. Motion to recess the meeting, meaning bring back the meeting, when the delegate wishes to have a break from the debate, usually for lunch break. The reason for recess and the amount of time is held and is voted upon.
Motion to move to voting procedure. First off, close debate on the topic at hand and moves the committee into voting procedure on resolution or amendments. The motion requires 2 speakers for and 2 speakers against. A simple majority vote to pass. The committee moves to voting procedure and it either passes or fails the resolution if the chair sees fit. And lastly, to pass, the chair sees if there is anyone who seconds and anyone who opposes the motion and moves accordingly. If there is several opposing votes, the motion does not pass. No one is allowed to leave the conference or enter during the voting. Safe.
Motion to move back to the general speaking list raised at the beginning of the second day and or during the moderated caucus if it has been discussed for long or too long.
And lastly, for motions, we have a set of motions, as we discussed, and those are the ways to, well, not the ways, who can vote on it. So motion to adjourn the debate. If you are present and voting, you can vote on that, but if you are present, you cannot vote on that. And for it to pass, it's usually overwhelming majority, but depending on the number of delegates in each committee. Motion to recess the meeting. Same thing. If you're present and voting, you can vote. If you're present, you cannot, and it's the overwhelming majority. Motions for caucuses, moderated or unmoderated, it has to be, you have to be present and voting to vote on it, and if you're present, you cannot, and overwhelming majority. Motion to open speakers list. For this one, no one can vote because it gets started by the chairs, and if the chairs decide to let you vote on it, we need 2/3, or in our case, because we have a small committee, we will take the simple majority. Motion to table. Present voting can vote on it, present can't, and needs the simple majority. Motion to postpone debate, or like stop it for a little bit. Present and voting can vote on it, present cannot vote on it. It needs the overwhelming majority. Motion to close or resume the debate. Present voting can vote, present cannot, and needs simple majority or 2/3 of the majority, depending on your delegate number. And lastly, motion to divide House or questions. Present voting can vote, present cannot vote, and needs 2/3 or, as I said, simple majority, depending on your committee. Is there any questions?
Any questions regarding motions?
Guys, don't hesitate to ask now because in the committee
Okay.
conference.
Question is, what's PV and P? PV is when you are present and P when you are not present, yes?
No.
PV is present and voting, and P is present. Because in the beginning of your session, you choose whether you're present and voting or present.
Basically, the difference between present and voting and present is basically just as simple as present and voting takes part in the voting, present don't wish to take part in the voting. That's it.
And preferably choose present and voting so we
Yes,
can.
If I don't want to vote for anyone, I choose present.
No, not anyone.
Not anyone. It's only about the amendments or the topics or
Agenda.
whatever is being said, put on the
Is
table.
this session recorded? Because I was
Yes, it is recorded. Any other questions?
There was a mention before of something called, you said that an ally. So like if
Yes.
you want to pass your
Oh.
time to an ally, so what is the ally decided on? Is it like the ally of the country, or you get to decide like who's your ally?
Now, that ally would be.
You have to take a lot of factors into account, whether that country is already allied with that person, or also if their policies are very similar, then you can choose that person to be your ally. You have to discuss privately on the person that you would like to be your ally.
Now, definitely you can't ally with anyone. Your
Yes.
rules, regulations, legal facts, all of this you have to take into consideration. So, for example, we're talking USA and China. Yeah, those can't be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on the country problems. If they are okay with each other, then you can make allies with them.
Are we supposed to tell you who we are allies with? Or
Uh,
something?
I think we'll be able to find out in the conference.
We'll be
yeah,
able to find out.
probably we'll find out.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I want to make an ally, do the ally of the country need to be allies in the real life or no?
No, not really.
No,
It
it's
doesn't
fine.
need
You
to be.
can
Just
you
You
can
can just
ask.
ask them.
Whatever both of you, as long as both of you are dealing with together, that's it. You
and
want
you
to meet
trust
in real
each
life,
other
you
too.
want to meet whatever, as long as both of you are dealing together with it.
Yes. You can have a friend or someone that you just met as an ally.
Okay,
But
so regarding the allies, I'm sorry to interrupt, by the way.
yes.
Regarding the allies, so suppose that Canada and the United States, so they can be considered allies because they are a part of the NATO organization. So I guess that they
If
would be considered.
if two countries are neutral with each other, then it's fine. You can be
That's
allied
fine,
with
yeah.
them.
Yes,
We're
but
talking, we're
but
talking here two countries that can't be friends. For example,
Yes.
China
China
and
and
USA.
USA.
Now they have multiple fights between each other, multiple
Russia.
arguments, and they have opened nuclear wars, nuclear HUDs against each other. These two definitely can't be together.
yes,
But Canada and USA. Now Canada and USA are already in the same state.
yes,
They're
because they
neutral.
are a part. They are a part of the same organization alliance.
You
Yes.
can
So if there was a member that had been given the Canada country, we would take it into consideration that that person who represents Canada is my ally. Correct?
Yes.
it doesn't have to unless you want to be allies with him. So you can just go ahead and
You have to
text him.
discuss privately
Yes.
whether you want
Okay,
each
and
other to be allies.
what do allies benefit you in terms of debates?
Backing
does
you
not
up,
benefit.
defending you, at least having more than one attack point at some person. So, for example,
Mhm.
I am France, and let's say my colleague here, Abdussalam, is let's say USA. Now, both of us are allies, or let's say Germany. Let's say he's Germany. Both of us are allies together, and we are facing difficulty in attacking Russia, for example. And Russia is too professional, and we're not. I can't attack him alone, and he can't attack him alone. So what we do is basically team up and make a quick search. So instead of only me attacking him, it would be both sides attacking him.
And also to add, if you are put in a tough situation, it's very important to have an ally. Because if there's too many delegates that are attacking you, if an ally stands up for you, that ally gains points, and also you are being shielded by someone.
Also, such thing happened last year, where you point out a question that has nothing to do with the topic. It's very normal if you point it out there and be like, "I'm sorry, I won't answer this question because it's out of topic."
Yeah, you can do that. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes.
When I want to attack someone, how do I say that?
You have to put it in a form of a question.
Depending.
Be like what you can do is basically, if you find some false information or you have a targeted question, point of information, and be like, if the chair accepts it, and be like, for example, China has stated that China has no money laundering since ever, let's say 1990, when there's a true fact, in the 2012, the biggest money laundering issue happened in China. Can China please do care and answer my question? What happened there? So there, you would put China in a tough situation.
Mhm.
That's how you start debating.
And also you can mention past events. For example, China once stopped all funding to support groups, and China, for example, you can mention that event, and you can ask, what has China done to solve this problem?
And the most usual type of debate that will happen during the MUN is after the delegate gives his speech. If he yields his time to the questions, other delegates will attack him. Through this, most of the debating will happen. But of course, you need to ask for a right reply, and both of you will start debating. And of course, other delegates might help you, might go against you, etc.
Now, also delegates, remember,
Also,
there is
don't
no
forget.
right reply to right to reply. That would be a right to follow up, not a right to reply.
Don't forget, you get points if you defend your country. So if you
Yes.
yield your time to questions and someone attacks you and you defend it, you get more points instead of just yielding the time to the chairs.
But if I get asked a question I do not want to answer, do I just choose not to answer it, or do I have to answer it?
You can choose to basically, if you have no answer, you can just say I have no answer, but you will lose enormous amount of points.
You
And
can
if you're-
say, yeah, you can also say that you will answer the delegate at a later time when you research the topic.
Yeah, you can ask, for example, say Fly here, my colleague has told me a question. I would ask the chair, can I have at least 2 minutes to research my topic? And of course, it will be granted. But exactly after 2 minutes, the chair will ask for the reply.
But I personally won't recommend doing this because it will negatively affect you. So it's better to just research more before the MUN. And of course, if you make allies, your allies can help you if you are in this type of situation.
Now, definitely, all of us are telling you all of this according to our experience. Each one of us has a different amount of experience. And I think what Saif has mentioned would be helpful, very helpful.
Is
So
there
it-
a limit for getting allies?
Excuse me?
Is there a limit for allies? For example,
Not really.
There is no limit because at some point they will stop. So let's say the countries that are in Japan, Korea, China, France, Germany. Now France, Germany, USA will be together. Korea and Japan will be together. Actually, no, I don't think they're friends, depending on the topic.
But there is a limit.
Yes.
There's something called blocks. We'll discuss it later. But this is basically like allies. So there is, to every block, there's a limit. So basically, yes, there is a limit. We'll give it to you during the conference.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I think it's about time to move on because we kind of need to keep track of time here.
Yes.
Yes.
So points.
Okay, so
Abdurrahman.
So points. You have points of rules of procedure, points of personal privilege, point of order, point of parliament inquiry, point of information, and right of reply written motion. Okay, with the first one, you have rules of the procedure. You have and we have listed all the points down below.
Here, basically, rules of the procedure. Difference between points and motions. Now, you may realize points and motions may a little bit be on the same track. Now, we have here seven motions. Sorry, 7 points. And each point is used on a different base. Now, point of a personal privilege, point of order, point of parliamentary inquiry, point of information, right to reply if allowed by the chair, right to follow up also if allowed by the chair. These points, you're required to use them during the conference.
So the first one was just point of personal privilege. Okay, so point of personal privilege is the only interrupting point. In the middle of the meeting, for example, the EC is too cold for you, you can raise your placard and ask for point of personal privilege and ask the chair if they can lower the AC, for example. Or if a delegate is too far off and you can't hear him, you can raise a point of privilege there as well. It's if something is uncomfortable for you, you can ask it, and the chair will try to accommodate you.
Also, if you want to go to the bathroom, this is perfect because I know some of you would get a bit stressed and the bathroom would be a big use. So, point of personal privilege is yours.
Sorry, can you show us sorry for interrupting. Sorry, can you show me videos and like that how it works for the MUN?
You can go ahead and search on the YouTube MUNs, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can if we can as chairs to send a couple of links so we can help you with that. I'll try my best.
Okay, you can send us in the link for the WhatsApp if you can.
Yeah, sure, we'll try.
Thank you so much.
Point of order raised against a delegate. In case of information inaccuracy raised against the moderators in case of procedural mistake, a rude comment made by another delegate, it does not require voting. Now here, if I, for example, Safely here is the delegate of France and I'm the delegate of Syria. And Safely have tried attacking me and I found it very, very rude. I would be like, I'd raise my placard and the chair would acknowledge me and I would like point of order. And the chair would be like, what is your order? And be, well, the delegate of France has been rude and misplaced me and I found it very unfriendly. Also, this this point can be used as also, for example, Abdsalam here, the delegate of China, has, for example, mentioned China has never found money laundering in their history. You have to point it out for him. When you point it out, you gain a lot of points.
And you have point of parliament inquiry. If a delegate wishes to inquire about anything in the committee or what's going to happen, you can raise a point of parliament inquiry and ask the chair himself, and he will try to accommodate you as much as possible. And it does not require a vote. That's
none of the points require a vote.
Yeah, I don't know what that's.
You can always have it on the table as long as you raise your placard, except for the point of personal privilege. Point of information, the delegate wishes to ask a question to another delegate. Now, this is when you start a debate. You're wondering about how to start a debate. This is it. Point of information. So, for example, general speaker list is done and we're starting to talk and I have a question to point it out to the delegate and be like, point of information. And the chair acknowledges you and be like, what's your information? I would say, well, Germany in the past tense have been smuggling not Germany, let's say Mexico. Mexico has been smuggling throughout the borders some illegal incoherence of drugs, weapons, such and such. What did Mexico have to do with such thing? What is the resolution or the thing that they thought of that could fix it? That would be the use of their
I'll help you. So let's say I'm delegate of Mexico and Subhi is the delegate of the USA, for example.
Yes.
And I go on and say, Mexico has actually stopped trafficking drugs, has ceased all of the drug traffickers and put them in jail. Now, what Subhi would do is...
I would raise up on my placard, sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would raise it up. Now, Safely is the chair. He'd acknowledge me.
And Saif would call on him and he would say point of information. And he would clarify that my point was invalid or inaccurate and provide a, a reliable source that my point was false.
And then if I approved with him for the reliable resources, the other delegate would, the chair would ask the other delegate if he's satisfied. And then if he is, then we move on. If he's not, they would ask other questions.
Keep in mind, using inaccurate information or false would lead to your points being deducted.
I just have a question.
Yes, sure.
Let's say that I'm unable to answer a specific question. Is it better for me to say that I cannot answer the question, or is it better for me to ask the chair for some time so I can research and
it's definitely better
It's
to ask
definitely
for
better
time.
for you.
Never ever leave a question empty or unfulfilled. It's just like a test. When you're attending a final exam and you leave one question empty, you would regret your whole life on that question.
Yeah, that's super sad.
Okay, thank you.
And please keep in mind that we as chairs will research about every country and we will know information about every country so that maybe one delegate, maybe he said something wrong, did use an unreliable resource, we would know that. Because we would research about it, and also we would have one of our chairs, one of us will be just there just to research about every thing that the delegate has said.
Another thing I would add on my colleague, what he have just mentioned, since we are searching about your countries and we know everything about your countries, In order for us to pick the best of the best, we will be pointing out some questions. So you have to be at all time ready.
Yes.
Please do not procrastinate on researching your country or other countries in the committee. As you know, you can research, for example, you're the delegate of India. You can research Ethiopia, for example, and make points to attack or defend your country.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, one of the chairs here and someone else has teamed up before, and they had made a big list of countries and what's the good advantages and disadvantages. So they just know the moment they attack them, they just know how to pay back. And they were very, very accurate and professional what they were doing. I think Amar Shalash has an idea of what I'm talking about.
Moving on.
Right to reply. Requested by the delegate, of course, when he has been personally subjected to a derogatory comment or insult. For example, if let's say this happened in my first MUN, so the delegate of Algeria would attack the delegate of China, and would go on to describe her personally or talk about the country in a derogatory manner. The delegate of China is able to raise this point, and points will be deducted from the delegate of Algeria who has pointed out the insult. And this, yeah, okay.
Wait,
Now for questions.
I have a question. So wait, for that slide you just went to the right of reply written motion. So is it during while he's giving his speech, like the derogatory insult?
Definitely, you cannot interrupt any delegate while he's on his speech. But what you can do is basically wait for him to finish till he finishes his reply, and be like, raise your placard, and the chair would acknowledge you and be like, right to reply or right to follow up, depending on what the situation is.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sure.
For attending for the MUN event, is it gonna be online or like face to face or what?
Well, till now we have information that it's going to be face to face on campus.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, may I ask a question, please?
Sure.
So regarding the delegates attacking other delegates, we must attack the other delegates regarding regarding the topic that, like, we must attack them and relate to the given topic. Am I correct?
Sure.
Yes.
So we mustn't go out of topic.
You're not
No,
allowed
you
to go
can't.
out of
Yes.
topic. As I have mentioned before, the moment you go out of topic, he may raise a point and be like, I don't want to answer because this question is out of topic. Now
Okay.
there, you're put in a tough situation.
Okay.
You might lose marks too, or points.
Excuse me?
Anything that's negatively acting upon you, just know you're gonna lose marks.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, sure.
What if another delegate asks you like a really hard question and you're just out of answers?
What something you would do to run away from losing marks is you'd ask, for example, 2 minutes to search and you couldn't find anything. You ask for another extension of time. At the end, you'd be just say anything that you read. For example, they pointed out that Germany, for example, has, or not Germany, let's say Mexico, has been smuggling drugs. And I have no answer for that. I don't know how to defend my country in such situation. I go on the internet and be like, what did Mexico take solutions to solving?
Like, is it allowed like to like consider the other countries, like my country's achievements on that particular like
Exactly.
is that a good way to defend?
Yes, he attacks you with something negatively, you just throw him some positivity.
Okay, thank you.
How much maximum time are you allowed to get for answering a question? Like if you do not know the answer?
Well, the max time we can give you is 5 minutes. And that's if we see that the debate is interesting us. If we have no interest, the max we can give you is 2.
Okay then.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes.
How to get the certificate? I listened that there is certificate for the MUN.
Well,
Yeah,
you're all
you will be given the certificate after the MUN.
yes.
If you
all
have
of you
won any award, you would have also like it be written on the certificate.
now. There's one certificate that all of you will receive if you join the 3 days.
Certificate of
You have
participation.
you have to be joining all 3 days. If you don't join the first day and the 2 days after it you join, you most probably will be disqualified because you're required to join all 3 days. The certificate all of you will be receiving is the certificate of participating, and the awards would be there is many awards: best delegate, best research, distinguished delegate, many certificates.
So,
And not
so
to
even if you have the less point, you will get the certificate. Yes, the least
yes,
point.
if you only have, for example, 5 points, you're still gonna get the delegate of sorry, the certificate of participation, because at least you had the power, you had the energy to join such an enormous activity. Others were too scared to join.
Okay.
True. So we got a question for people who chose present. Can they ask for motions? You can ask for motions, but you cannot vote when the chairs tell you to vote. People who chose present and voting only can vote. So if you chose present
Yes.
and you wanted to open a motion, you can do that, but you cannot vote on it
If
unless
you
you
want,
chose present and voting.
let's take an example here. I would ask, for example, Abdussalam's my chair, and I'd be like, motion to set agenda or motion to open topic B to start, and he would accept it. And then we would ask for raise your placard to pass or abstain. Now, people who chose present and voting are only allowed to raise their placard. People who chose present, they stay silent and wait for them what's going to happen.
And you can join the motion if you like to. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Sure.
If I am in an alliance and I betray someone in the alliance, do I lose points?
No.
You don't,
You
but
don't
you're
lose
going
points.
to regret it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're gonna regret it big
Because
time.
if you had an alliance, for example, you had 6 alliances, and you chose to betray one of them, all
All 5 of
all
them.
the ones that you have left, they will also try to attack you because they see that you have attacked one of them, so they would be scared to you attacking them too.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
Is getting allies like required to perform
No,
well?
It is, yeah.
It
Because you
is
will be forming
recommended.
blocks. You will discuss it later on, but
You're
it is
either
required.
ways gonna get an ally because allies
Mhm.
do help with many things: your defense, your
Well,
attack, your
well,
points.
according to what you've said, allies are you should before it getting inside a block, you should consider the policies. For example, like let's say Cuba, for example, might 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 have a good chance being an ally with Mexico, for example, because they both have share a lot of common things. But
For example,
like
now, in order for you to have an ally, you have to see your country purposes. So, for example, as we have mentioned, USA, Canada, Germany, UK, all of these can be allies. But for example, Iraq, Libya, Syria, they cannot ally with USA.
so,
So
it's
they have
mainly about
Depending on the
policies.
situations. Yes,
yes,
depending on the policy.
policies, problems, and just
Okay, thank you.
any other questions? Okay, we're gonna move on. Resolution paper.
Resolution paper. Now, resolution, it's from the name, you can tell it's about fixing stuff. After you have fought all the days and you have uh, had put into this blood, sweat, and tears, you come to the resolution where you will see that it was very worth the fight. You would see that you've debated so much, you're ready to do anything, just let's fix this. So resolutions, certain clauses, operative clause, blocks, and concerns are all depending on resolution. Next slide, please.
So what is the resolution paper? Resolution paper is basically a formal document which is made during the immune conference. The document through which you propose the solutions that you have come up with your fellow delegates in the committee. Basically, lays out the solutions and all the other details regarding the implementation of the solutions. And of course, the formatting, the font style should be Times New Roman, and the font size should be 12.
Just like
Basically, at this point, it will be the last day of the MUN. You would have formed blocks and, or you can call it as allies, and you'll basically come together and do the resolution paper. In this resolution paper, you'll basically talk about the resolution that you have come up with, and also the details that you have implemented to your solutions. And yeah, that's basically it. Next slide, please.
Resolutions, terms used in resolution paper. Main submitter, co-submitter, signatories, sponsors, amendments, parliamentary clause, operative clause, clause, subclause, sub-subclause. Now, all of these are basically just names. You don't need to worry about this. This is very simple. Now, main submitter can be more than one. Co-submitter is one, signatories, sponsors, amendments, parliamentary clause, all of these. Now, how do you choose your main submitter? Your main submitter has to be the best delegate, just as if you're giving him your money, just like a bank. If you're looking to have interest in it and you're going to put your money inside the bank, you have to make sure this bank is going to keep your money safe. Just like the main submitter, you have to give him the charge of everything, because the main submitter is the person who's going to be presenting the resolution paper to us, the chairs. And if we see that he hasn't explained well, so we will most probably move to the next resolution. And if your resolution paper fails, you'll lose a lot of amount of marks. Co-submitter is the person who's supposed to be helping the main submitter, and all the ones under these, the signatories, sponsor, amendments, parliamentary clause. Sorry, don't include parliamentary clause. The signatories, sponsors, and amendments. These are the people who are working, writing everything, and explaining it to the co-submitter and the main submitter in order to explain to us. Parliamentary clauses is basically previous actions. So in order for me to include a previous action that my country have done, I would say parliamentary clause. An operative clause, a current action, an action that I'm still doing, but it's not showing any effectiveness, or it may be showing an effectiveness, and I would like still to keep it. But remember, you can never keep any past clauses or any past actions. You can get the same thing and update on them. That's possible. But anything from the past, you can't redo it. Now, a clause, subclause, and sub-subclause. Now, when you have a parliamentary clause and you would like to add something to it, that's when you add a clause and a subclause and a sub-subclause.
The first of the resolution paper should include certain clauses. These clauses describe why this resolution is made, the purpose of the resolution, and what this aims to achieve, past actions that have been taken, references to the UN documents, treaties, efforts taken by nations. And then, of course, they cannot include any solutions and are strictly a statement of aforementioned. So basically, in this certain clause, you cannot just talk about the solutions. You should talk about that later. In simple words, this is just giving context to the solutions that will be proposed in the operative clause. Just details. Just talk about the solutions, not just saying the solutions. Just giving details about the certain solutions that you will propose with your allies or the bloc.
Resolution paper should include now operative clauses. It's very important. Recommendations and details of the actions and recommendations proposed, such as timeline of implementation, funding, feasibility. Yeah, just let's not read. Let's explain at the head here. So basically, operative clause. I have, as I have mentioned before, an operative clause, a current action, and I see it not working. I have to do something extra. I get this operative clause and I'd be like, we have funded it this amount, this feasibility is this, and the mentoring of the progress made, I have to mention that. Then I would think what could be something I could upgrade on this. For example, I have seen that USA has set the wall between Mexico and USA in order to stop the smuggling and the drug trafficking and the weaponizing security system. So that's still not working. Still, Mexicans are passing to USA. I need to find something that I would upgrade on this funding that I've done. That's it. This is most important part of your resolution. Basically, you have to be very smart, creative, and you have to have your tactics in it.
And now for the blocks. Simply, you can put a block is a group of delegates that work together, or you can say it's basically an allies. You will work together to make documents or amendments and also vote together. There are several ways to form a block, either going and asking delegates that you don't know, or seeing the countries that your country is allied with and making a block with them. Of course, for forming blocks, it's important for the resolution paper. It is required actually. And also, maybe while questioning, you don't know how to answer a question, your allies in the block will help you with that question. And if you have any inquiries, any questions that you don't know how to answer, maybe you want to attack a certain person, but you don't want to attack him alone, you can ask your block, you can ask your allies to help you with that. Next slide. Absalam, next slide, please.
Concerns while searching for a conference. Now, we all know you're very worried of that position paper. We all know that it's stressing on you. But trust me, it has nothing to do with stress. When you see and when I inform you how easy and how simple it is, you trust me, won't believe me. Now, just like the resolution paper also. Now, position paper, all you have to do is just get your topic, search about it, and be like, what did this country, the country A, for example, do with such topic? And you will have many articles. Just remember that you have to take reliable resources. The moment you take reliable resources, go in and read. Just read, for example, Mexico. Just read whatever it is, whatever you understood, type it down. Get a history background of the what Mexico has done with it. It's very simple. Just a quick researches. If you work hard on your research, trust me, position paper would be very easy. Same thing with resolution paper. Now, researching prayer on conference, background guide, expand, read credible resources. These are all very important for you to do. Preparing the possible moderated caucus, getting ideas for operative clauses and for resolution. My country does not seem to be relevant to the issue. Very little information available online. Researching different on Google search strategies, organizing researches. Now, we will, there's at most definite. You're going to face an issue of there's not enough information online. But there's not enough information online because, for example, you're not writing question right. So try paraphrasing your question. For me, my first experience as being a delegate, I have tried my best doing the research position paper, and trust me, I was too scared to. I didn't even, I was too afraid to the much. The first 20 minutes, I didn't enter the conference. It was, of course, that affected me badly and caused me very short disqualification. But at the end, I entered, and I entered with an unprepared position paper. I got attacked a lot. I didn't know what to do. I was very stressed. But then the next day, I decided to own up for myself and do my own position paper and finally do something that was right. I did my position paper, even though I didn't send it to my chairs and it wasn't corrected, and I lost all the marks for that. But at the end, the second day, I have debated right. I have set my motions right. I have set my points right. So they saw an improvement. They be like, this delegate wasn't doing anything yesterday. Today, he did a lot of job. So always believe in yourself. It's very important for you to believe in yourself. Don't back up because, oh, well, I don't know how to do position paper. It's very simple. And always don't hesitate to ask us as chairs. We will always try to help you.
Absalam, can I go just back to that slide?
Yes.
And as Subhi mentioned, you should not be worried at all. Just calm down, do your research, and everything will go basically as smooth as possible, hopefully. If you've done your research, if you've done research about your country, about your allies, about your enemies, you will, I promise you, you will perform really good during the MUN. Just have confidence and just do your research. Of course, these will help you, and of course, forming allies, maybe it's not from the first day, but it will help you a lot. And yeah, just don't worry about it, and hopefully everything will go smoothly.
Now, let me explain the world map that you're seeing in front of you. Trust me, when you understand how simple this is, it's a piece of cake. And basically, this is a resolution paper. Now, a resolution paper is a bit different than a position paper. Though the formatting has to be the same. You need to state your topic, your organization name, which is the committee, and the signatories, main submitter and co-submitter. Now, as long as you've mentioned that, you've literally done almost half of the resolution paper. Now, the second half would be you actually finding resolutions. It's that simple. What best interaction you would do to find the resolution is basically get an old resolution and update on it. If you find it working, that's perfect. If we as chairs also find it working, that's phenomenal actually. And as you can see here, Abdussalam, could you please possibly zoom in?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at the first thing, the guide by the purpose of the principles, the recalling, chapter IV. This is just the beginning, just telling them unprofessional. That's it. And then you move down, take notes with appreciation. Now, this is the main part. This is where it's getting serious. This is where you start your resolutions. You start by stating an old resolution and how you'd like to fix it or upgrade it or whatever you would like to do. As long as you don't state an old resolution, you're good to go. Now, as you can see, there's an AB. Now, that's a clause and a subclause. And you can see the numbers. That's it. It's literally, that's it. It's that simple.
Just state your points and sub
Right,
points.
You really don't need to stress yourself. Any question you have, just ask us.
How many words maximum are we allowed to write for the resolution paper?
A resolution paper could be up to 2 papers.
2 pages.
Yes.
2 pages. Okay.
Yes. Depending, it really can be 1 page and 2 page, as long as you're not gonna write only one resolution.
What I should write? Sorry, what I should write in resolution paper? Like there's 2 paper. Okay, for the position paper, like the background and solution, and this resolution paper.
Now, the position paper, as my colleague Saif has mentioned, a position paper is basically what's the position of your country in such topic. So for me, as being the chair of GA, and for example, let's take Vietnam into consideration with money laundering. What's Vietnam's position in money laundering? Back in 2017, as I recall, happened a money laundering situation. Now, Vietnam going to deny this. Either ways, you're gonna have to point it out. That's the position of Vietnam. Now, Vietnam in its position paper should be stating, in 2017, we have faced a money laundering situation. Now, that's a negative feedback. How you can tackle that and cover it up is by giving positive feedback. As I've said, just treat them with positivity. Cover it up by saying, oh, Vietnam has taken serious actions with the bank, serious actions with the transactions between money, so and so. Like this, you just covered up. Just like a wall had a hole, you had some clay, you're done.
This for attacking a country, yes?
Huh?
This for attacking country, yes?
Yes.
No.
This is basically not attacking country. This is defending your country. If you want to attack a country, you would have under that, you'd have a search. So, for example, Czech Republic, the biggest place of money laundering.
So what I should do? Impression paper, background and problem And what else? What?
Basically, position paper. I
The
think
solution.
safely.
Right, yeah, I can speak on that. Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, a position paper is like a formal essay. You should write about your committee, your country stand on the topics that are given, the solutions that your country has proposed, the solutions that your country has proposed on the international level, what your country has done regarding the issues or the topics, and what you are still doing, like what your country is still doing to improve on that point. Basically, that's it. You should defend your country in every way possible in the position paper. You should not go against your country, please. And don't use personal pronouns.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I did not understand the operative clauses and the subclauses.
Sam, can you go back?
Delivery.
Which one?
What clauses?
Operative.
Operative.
Operative clauses. Okay, so basically, the operative clauses are the recommendations or the details proposed, like for the implementation, like let's say funding, feasibility, monitoring of the progress made. This is the most, by the way, the operative clauses. Thank you for asking, because the operative clauses is like the most important part of your whole resolution. Because these clauses are where you will lay down the solutions that you have come up with your fellow delegates. So basically, like let's say you have a topic, right? You have your committee's topics. You should lay out your solutions that you have come up with your allies or the bloc in the operative clauses. Okay, so basically you can think of it as the solutions, and you can have sub clauses to that main clause. Okay, like saying about, like, or talking about specific details to that solution. Did you get me?
Yeah, understood. What about the subclauses?
Basically, the sub clauses, you just write specific details of the clause. Like let's say I'm
Okay.
talking about disarmament of nuclear weapons. I talked about the solutions that we have to disarm the nuclear weapons, and we have done some, basically fellow countries
And
have
basic-
done something
and
else.
basic- and basic.
You should specify specific details in the sub clause, but like
Understood.
in the main operative clauses, no, you just write the solution.
Delegate, basically, in simple words, operative clause is a current clause, and a parliamentary clause is basically an old clause. So an old clause, if you want to state it and do an update on it, so you would say a parliamentary clause, and then you would update on it, and that's your new resolution. And if you want to add more points to that parliamentary clause, you just say a clause. The clause is the parliamentary clause. And then you want to add another line, so you go subclause, and then you go subclause, and then subclause, and subclause, and it goes on.
Fully understood. Thank you.
Welcome. So Sam, can you go to the sample, please? So here, just to point out extra details, the main submitter, it should not always be just one country. It can be multiple countries, and only the delegates of that countries will talk in the resolution paper. They will read, they will discuss, they will also answer the questions, because in the resolution paper, after you finish your resolution paper, other blocks will question your resolution paper. You might have a problem, you might have a grammatical problem. Last year, what I faced from personal experience, my blog didn't check the grammatical problems that we had. So basically, the other blogs were attacking us only on the grammatical problems that we had. And our resolution paper didn't pass because of that. So please just check the information that's credible, and also just really kind of try to recheck the grammatical issues, because maybe one person, maybe he has other information than the other. So please just try to just check the grammatical issues multiple times, and yeah, basically that's it. And I hope hopefully it will be easy. If you have any questions, always ask us. If it's good during the conference, if it's
Guys,
right now,
please don't hesitate with asking questions.
Yes, I want to add one thing. For resolution paper, it will be with your bloc, with your allies. Don't forget about that. You won't be doing it alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a few questions.
Yes.
First of all, how many people are allowed in a block?
Now, if we're gonna have to tackle it face to face, each 5 countries is one block.
We might change that number. We're gonna tell you
Depending.
like during the conference.
We'll be updating you each step by step.
Yes.
I
Oh,
have a
okay.
question.
Yes.
What if some countries doesn't want to be your ally, and you're like left out?
Well, at most certain, you will be finding other allies. If they're left out alone, they're on their own, and if they're on their own, they're going to suffocate themselves slowly. Because when you don't have an ally, you're losing a lot of points here, a lot of tackling.
But anyway, you'll probably find what's it called, allies, pretty quickly. You just
Yes.
ask a couple of countries that are like neighboring countries or countries you have strong relationships with, and they'd probably accept most of the time.
Yeah.
All right.
But the blocks should be an equal amount. So let's say if we have 33 delegates, it should be 3 blocks of 11, or maybe different numbers. We can adjust that number to the amount of delegates that are present. And the blocks are like you are required to join the block, but you should not join it from the first day. Like you can just wait until the third day. You can do that. I don't recommend it, but you can do that. Personally, for me, I didn't join the block till the third day because I attacked everyone till the third day, and then I made allies and we made the resolution paper.
And save themselves.
So for the resolution paper, who is allowed to defend it? Is it only the main submitter, or also the signatories allowed to defend the resolution?
Just the main submitters.
Just the main submitters in charge of explaining the resolution to the chair. There's no defending it.
Okay.
The defense happens when you're explaining a resolution paper, and some delegates have some points to add, and some people may find it friendly, some people may find it unfriendly.
Okay.
And when an unfriendly amendment has been pointed, that's when you have to clarify it to be friendly, and then the other delegate would be asked if he's suitable with what you have said, what you have mentioned, or not.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You previously said that making alliance needs to be in private, but how do I do that online?
Basically, when you want to do a block and you're on the main group, you just ask them, and you're on the group, right? So basically, ask them privately, would you like to ally with me? If he said yes, and then the others said yes, just make one group and name it, for example, block A, add the chairs to it, and add everyone to it, and that's it. You're not allowed to have any other groups without the chairs.
Yes.
You can basically, if you don't know anyone or like might not want to message them privately, you can just go in the formal group and ask who wants to create like a block or become
But
allies.
always maintain full formality on the main group. Yeah, don't have to. You have to
Yes,
remember that.
of course.
So if I right now get allies, like let's say by tomorrow, so and then I create a WhatsApp group and I have to add the chairs also as it is.
Yes.
And then on the day, let's say if there are less people and like the chairs say that there's supposed to be less people in a block, so will they remove the people from my block, or what exactly?
Technically, keep it as we have said. Keep it 5. Just keep it on the range.
For now.
And if we see that you can add more, we would inform you. And plus, it's way too early to be doing the blocks and allies right now. Just wait for the first committee
Some
session.
people didn't even.
Yeah, for now, just do the position paper and
We have
do
a
your
question.
research and
We have a
that's it.
question, a written question. It says, "Can you sum up the resolution papers?"
We have summed it up. As I've said, it's basically explained by the main submitter and written by the signatories. And the main submitter is in charge of fully explaining it, and the signatories are in charge of defending their points and explaining them.
Yeah, okay, but can you explain what's the point of the resolution paper?
Resolution paper is made just to find the resolution, to make solutions between countries. So, for
Okay.
example, let's take into consideration Germany in World War. When she has lost the World War, a UN has happened to take action. and Germany till now is suffering from penalties and some laws that was charged on it since the war that she's created.
Any other
Okay,
questions?
what's it called? Isn't that what you write in your position paper? You write solutions on the topic?
Well, technically, in the position paper, you're supposed to find some solutions in order to add them to the resolution. So as I've said, position paper and the resolution paper are pretty near to each other.
Basically, in the resolution paper, you would like write the solutions that all of your countries or like the bloc have come up with, like the certain countries have come up with, and basically just talk about like let's say for disarmament, like all the countries that are in the bloc have stated that we are trying to disarm nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. So you should state that, and of course, in the sub clauses, you should state specific details if you want to. You can not add the specific sub clauses, but we recommend it.
Any other questions?
I
have a question.
Is it necessary to
Yes.
have?
Yes.
Is it necessary to have an allies?
For the blocks.
As I've
no.
said, it's not necessary, but do you really want to be attacked hardly and harshly?
By multiple
No,
people.
it's not necessary, but on the third day, you have to join a bloc. A bloc is basically like a group of allies. So
Like-
yes, you are. But on the first 2 days, you are not allowed to. But
Like,
we
I can't
recommend
speak,
you
my
to
allies
join.
can speak.
See, you want to take it this way. Do you really want to be attacked from multiple people and be overly stressed?
No. So I should
You
make an
just have-
allies.
Yeah, make an ally. Easy on you.
So wait, are the allies allowed to speak on your behalf?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fun fact. Last year I was a chair and I have asked a delegate a question, and I have meant to the question to be out of topic, so I could see who's allying and who's not. And it was between Ukraine and Czech Republic. I asked the question to Ukraine. Czech Republic has managed to go over Ukraine and say Ukraine doesn't have to answer such question because it's out of topic. So basically, your ally always has your back.
okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sure.
Go ahead.
So in the case, so when we're debating, and I don't know what to say, I'm at a loss of words. Is
Yes.
there something I can say to stop
Of course,
talking, or
you can ask the chair for 2 minutes.
To research.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but we recommend for you to research prior to that, so you won't be in that kind of situation. And of course, you can
Of
ask
course,
for
of
extra
course,
time,
when-
and you can like your allies can help you with that. If maybe one of them knows the answer, or can debate. And,
Yes.
instead of you.
In fact, you are. You're supposed, when a question is being forwarded to you, you can be like, oh, well, we did this, but can you tell me what did you do this according to this?
So wait, that'll give you points more, right? Because you're attacking them and defending yourself at the same time.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Check chat. We have from Marwan.
Am I allowed to answer a question by question?
Yes.
When a delegate attacks me.
If
You
someone asks
are
me a
allowed.
question
So
that
for
is out of the
example,
topic.
Saif, or let's say Jabir, has asked me a question, and he was like, what did China do in the topic of money laundering to save its country? And I'll be answering, well, China has set a big, huge security system on its banks, but can you tell me what Czech Republic has done to its money laundering situations and its taxes invasions? Like this, I literally just ruined him.
Yeah, so like counter my question with another question.
Yes, it's just like a counter strike. And if you use such strategy, you need to be very careful because you can slip at such point. But it's also an amazing strategy to have an attacking point where you just like, come at me, I'm still gonna tackle you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now, if someone asks me a question that is out of topic, but I know the answer, then can I answer him?
Definitely, and that would gain you a lot of points. The situation that happened with Ukraine and Czech Republic with me last year, Even though Czech Republic has answered that Ukraine shouldn't answer this question because it's out of topic, Ukraine has still managed to answer the question, and she took the best delegate.
But if you can see, like, if you see that your answer will negatively affect you, I recommend, like, don't answer it and say that this information is not related to the topic, and that's it.
Any other questions?
Yes. Do you have this PowerPoint as a file or link?
We'll be
'Cause I
sending
want to look through it again.
We'll be sending the PowerPoint and also the recording.
Okay.
Okay, for the for the problems, I should bring the problems that happen for the country and the solution of it. Yes.
Yes, as
Or
a
solution in my opinion.
Yes, as a self-defense. So, for example, Germany has right now. Germany is a very strong position in the UN, but if we're talking back in 1950, Germany was very weak. Why? Because she has set some charges on it. And the problems right now, if Germany gets attacked by, oh, you started World War, I could answer back with, yes, I started World War, but look at me now. I have took all your disadvantages. I took all the roads that you have put me in. I've took all the discharges that you've put me in, and I'm still tackling one of the best countries in the world. So basically, you're still setting the defense, you're setting your attack point. Everything is back to back.
Also, another question, and this is related to the solution, to the resolution. So, like the resolution, are you allowed to come up with your own, or is it something that you get from the government? Like maybe the government is doing it right now.
You are allowed to do your own resolution, but we need to find it effective.
Okay.
Any other questions? Please don't hesitate. Right now, we're in a training session, and we're all free for you.
Yeah, we're here to answer all of your questions.
Because in the conference, we can't answer any questions and we can't face any informalities.
And for your point, you can do your own resolution paper. And of course, if the topic like is not really relevant, like if you can't find information about it in the internet, a lot of information, you can do your own research and you can do your own resolution paper. I recommend that personally because sometimes you won't find the exact resolution paper or exact like question that is being discussed in the internet. So I would recommend doing your own and just getting your allies together or your block and just doing your resolution paper. It won't take that long, of course, especially if you're helping each other, it won't take that long.
Also, I would like to add that I urge delegates right now to start working on their position papers and research about other countries, because you're going to keep procrastinating until it's like 3 days off. Just a hint.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, are opinions allowed in the debate?
Definitely not. It's a formal. Now, depending, there's an unmoderated caucus and there's a moderated caucus. There's an informal session and a formal session. Informal session, you can do whatever you want, but like stay with the manners, some manners side. But with the formal session, you're required to be stating formally 110%.
I have a question.
Sure.
What if you want to attack a country and you try to search about that country? Google is filled with positive things. Half of them might also be fake. And you still want to attack this country, but Google is filled with positive things. So how will you find negative things about countries?
How do you find negative things about countries? This is very often question I get asked. You find negative feedback about countries depending on what they're saying. So if I tell you, oh, we did this, oh, we did that. So the moment they tell you we did this, that means there have to be a reason of them doing such thing. They won't do it out of nowhere.
Exactly.
So if I tell you, oh, I've set a higher security system on my banks, I would definitely know there's money laundering or there's smuggling in the money, because why would you have put a higher security system? Why waste the country's money on such thing if there is no use of it?
And regarding the fake points or sources, always use credible resources, .government, education, organization, and many more. We have sent on the group, and we'll send them again.
Right, and for researching, if, let's say Subhi is the delegate of Czech Republic, and I research about Czech Republic money laundering, and I just found positive things like how they are defending the banks, defending the country from money laundering, and have put on precautions and like those types of stuff. What I can do is first off, while researching, I can see like issues, problems. If you add that to Google, you can find some credible resources that are talking about the issues that they are facing. Like maybe as Subhi said,
Always ask about reasons.
yeah,
So if I
maybe
tell you China made a higher security system, what's the reason China made a higher?
yeah, exactly. Like they have put on precautions. Why did they put on precautions if nothing is happening? For every issue, there's a solution. And yeah, you can see basically why they have put on precautions, why they have done the extra protection. And yeah, just basically for researching, just try to use different words, try to paraphrase, and you will hopefully find your answer.
All
right,
are
thank you.
university studies allowed? Has credible sources?
University studies depending if they're .gov, if they're admitted by the government, or admitted by an actual science search such as org, or admitted by an actual site that is one of the sites that we told you that is acceptable, then definitely. But if it's .net, .com, .wikipedia, it's definitely not academic.
Yeah, like let's say for an example, like maybe NASA has published something, maybe Harvard University, yeah, it would count as credible.
Okay,
But
and
like,
a frequent
like
question
a
would come
student
in.
in Harvard University just
sorry.
did the research and that's it. No, it will not count as credible resources.
A frequent question would come in. Wikipedia is also wikipedia.org. Does that count as a credible source?
No,
No,
Wikipedia
it's
generally is not allowed.
because anyone can edit on it. Let's be real.
Okay, may I ask?
I have a question, Mister.
Sure.
When I was writing my position paper, I wanted to see resolutions that were passed by my country, but I was not able to find some.
I have,
Like,
in fact, you have sent me your position paper and I've corrected it for you. I've sent you. I told you you have a second chance for redoing it because of the resources. Now, resolutions. If you're facing some issues finding resolutions, try to do your own. Try to see a previous action that was taken and upgrade on it. And if you couldn't find anything, rephrase your question. Most probably you stated the question incorrectly.
Okay, may I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Yes.
So, suppose that we are given a topic regarding child labor,
Mhm.
and we have been given a country which does not support that issue or has that issue. So, can I mention the country's volunteering actions towards other countries that face this issue?
Definitely.
You can, yeah.
Thank you.
Like this, you have faced your allies. You know what your allies are. You're ready to back them up. And if anyone has a point to attack you, be like, well, we haven't seen such topic. Please state your resource.
I mean, if your country does not have the topic or issue at hand, you're in a position of power.
Yes.
You obviously, if you don't have it, you can just start attacking other countries of, oh, why don't you just deal with this problem and this and this and that? And no
But
one
you should
can
be
reply
sure
to you.
about that point.
Of course.
Now, guys,
If you're saying you
also-
don't have that issue in your country, and maybe someone does his research and finds like let's say a research paper that did some research and found out that there is like the problem is present in your country, you will be negatively affected and you won't know what to do at that point. So please do your research carefully.
Now, guys, always know when you're given a country that is so bad, it has only negative stuff, know that you're being taken as you're very professional and you know what you're doing. And if you take in a country with power that has no effectiveness in it, also know you're in a great power. So basically, we have to make it balanced with evilness and goodness. So basically, in order for you to attack each other and be perfectly fine, we need to make some balance. So that's why we include Syria, Libya, Iraq, and then we include For example, USA, France, and Germany. This is some balanced. Both now, I won't deny, USA, France, and Germany have some issues, but not like the Arab countries.
Yes.
God bless the Arab countries, man. Anyways.
So true.
Let's stay formal, guys.
I just
God
have a
bless.
question.
Amen.
When are we going to be writing the resolution paper exactly? So like you said, we will be writing it during the
Conference.
third day, right?
Normally, yeah. Normally, it's on the last day.
Normally, it's on the last day. But
So like,
a resolution paper is formed once you've tackled the actual topic and all its subtopics. In order for you to open a resolution committee, a resolution session, you need to face 1 moderated caucus and 3 unmoderated caucuses. Or I think I flipped it. It's 1 unmoderated caucus and 3 moderated caucuses in order for you to open a resolution for the topic.
So basically, your block will represent it on the third day, but it is better to start on the second day. Maybe just creating a WhatsApp group, maybe creating an online meeting. You can discuss the resolution paper throughout that, and you can divide the work throughout your block members.
Did we discuss crisis
Okay,
issue?
the dark web. Okay, dark web is not accepted at all. I have no idea how are you trying to log into the dark web.
Tor.
I think he's trying, as my colleague have said, trying to get his FBI on him. Where those agents be? When we need them, where those agents be? Now, of course, in the conference, we're required to be very formal, but trust me, us, we are very fun to hang around. So just deal with us for the coming days. Trust me, we're fun for later.
Are you going to be giving us like how much marks we gave, and will you give us feedback on where we can improve after the whole thing is done?
After the entire conference, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
If you submit your position paper before time,
Yes.
we give you second chances and give you feedback.
Yes.
But if you're submitting it on time, we don't give you feedback because we barely have time to correct it.
Oh, okay. Okay then.
So it would be good if you give it a try and give us a small position paper so you can see where you're weak at and where you're strong at, and we would try to help you with it.
Okay then. Thank you.
Yeah, and just keep in mind that the MUN is not basically just debating. We have some interesting surprises for you, and hopefully we'll all enjoy, and hopefully it will be a memorable experience that you will remember for maybe the next.
Definitely safe. We're only trying to do this for fun, no stressing, no over stress. It's only for fun, only to make some memories, make some new friends. Fun fact: I didn't know Safe and the other Safe and Yazan and Abdussalam. I knew none of them until last year because I was co-chair in UNICEF. Safe Lai was my delegate, and I believe Safe Babai was too.
Yeah, I remember.
Nice.
Yeah, so basically, like, hopefully you all have fun and you meet some new people, and don't worry, you will enjoy it hopefully, because we'll not just debate, we'll have some surprises for you. You'll do different kind of stuff, and yeah, hopefully
I believe
it'll be a
yeah.
memorable experience.
I believe we have a delegate I had last year. His name is Yusuf Ashraf, I believe.
No, that's not me. This is my first time.
Maybe it's a match of names.
Probably.
Okay, this is gonna be a very weird question, but are we allowed to eat gum in the conference?
Now, out of self-respect and self-respect, you're prohibited from eating gum. So try avoiding.
I mean, I would prefer you don't.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Exactly.
It depends on your chair.
Now Omar Shalash, a different man here. He's a new man and a different man, so we will have to ask him. But finally, we have to report back to our SG.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
Any other questions, guys? We're really having fun.
Yes, sir.
Please,
If you have any questions, any, even what does the meaning of MUN? Just ask.
Yes.
We really don't mind. No question goes to waste. As long as you're
Yes.
asking, we're very happy answering.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No further questions. I see. I think
Seems to have no questions.
Well,
Yeah. So
how much
now,
paragraph?
Delphi,
yes,
would
I
you
have
like
a
to see a
question.
word?
Yeah.
Do you have any question?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Will the MUN be delayed or will it be online?
We'll update you if
Now,
anything happens.
as I have mentioned, it will stay as it is, as you've been informed. Any update that comes to us, we'll be updating you.
Okay,
But
thank you.
till now, it's face to face on the 18th of February in our school.
February?
Yes.
Okay.
You thought it was January?
No, I thought it was later.
Alright, so delegate is asking about what about clothing? I don't have any exactly formal clothes. So should I buy or is there any way I
See,
can
you
go
see,
around?
you're not really required to always wear the jacket. Any shirt under a t-shirt, a button t-shirt, and pants would be fine.
Or
a
you can just get a kandora.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Like for example, we have different examples here. We have Abdussalam and Subhi. You can wear both, and you can wear also a kandora. Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
buy? Can we wear a sandal
Well,
with a kandora?
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't concern what you wear in your legs. We only concern what you wear on your body.
Exactly.
So
Any more
hypothetically,
questions?
we could go barefoot. Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
I mean, like
Come on.
things have limits, بس يعني any footwear that looks okay, we don't mind it.
If
Like
we
as
don't
long as you're
notice.
not coming in with like Lamborghini shoes, we're fine.
No. It's not only Lamborghini shoes. As long as you don't come with these sparkly shoes with the one that like beeps every time you step on it, we're fine.
No, come
Yeah,
on.
but what
Those
if
ones
I
are
can't
fine.
find my size?
جابر
Then
أعطيهم
what
ماتشي.
can I do?
I mean, those were the vibe back in the days. Right now, they annoy me a lot.
Let's keep
Like, I
trend.
thought we weren't taking any opinions in this.
Let's keep track of the
Uh,
meeting.
Yes, we barely have time.
Back
I
to
think we have
questions.
8 minutes. Any
About
other
10
questions?
minutes, yeah.
Any other questions?
I have the last question.
Yes, sure.
All right, go ahead.
My committee is about drugs and crimes. How am I
Mhm.
gonna protect my country using that?
Amar Shalash, your
Okay, basically, for your country, you're gonna go and search about it, and you can find how your country has been trying to develop techniques. So even if your country is not good at it, you can say, "Oh, my country attempted this," and you get points for it.
What Omar is trying to say, for example, let's say I am the delegate of China, for example, and China has signed with this committee or in like 1997. You can just bring that up in the debate, and you say, well, China has signed this treaty between this country and this country on drug trafficking, so on and so forth. Anything that China signs, or your country, of course, signs, is relevant to the debate in drugs and crime.
You can protect your country in any way. Just always remember, don't state a negative feedback without supporting it. Like, be like, oh, well, my country did this, but we're working on it and doing this. So always state something negative and then kill them with that positivity.
Right, so,
Okay,
Is it
weird
allowed?
wording. Go on.
Is it allowed? Like, let's say if I go through like previous UN meetings where, or let's say like my country said something and they did exactly that. Am I allowed to say that?
As long as you have a resource of that, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but the resource is a YouTube video because it is it's a recording of the UN
Because
meeting.
it's an actual UN.
Of the actual UN,
I guess we
you
can
can
make
use
an
that.
exception for those types of videos of like the
I
UN is recorded by like a video cam, and you have
Yes.
that video.
And I don't think you can voice engineer or edit the video. So yes.
Yeah.
You technically can, but
So any other questions?
Yeah.
What we should wear? Can we wear jeans or slash?
Jeans are not allowed.
No.
Slash.
Slash.
What?
Slash.
You're only allowed to wear pants that are formal.
What we should wear?
Some people ask if the school uniform is allowed. What do you think?
school uniform. I need to report back to the SG on this one. I'm
Don't
not
think it
sure.
is.
Our SG,
Yes.
are they allowed to wear any school uniform?
Well, no, it should be formal. It's a formal conference, so anything formal. It doesn't have to be a suit or something, but it should be at least. I mean, jeans is obviously not allowed, and yeah, you can wear a shirt with the pants or just a
So for our school,
Um,
we have normal clothing, but maybe other schools have like suits and for like the school clothing. So if your school is like that, like you have suits for like the school clothing, yeah, you can come in and this.
There you have it from the
It's better
SG.
for you to come like in a suit or
Yes.
as the FG is wearing or Kandora.
You have it from the SG himself.
Exactly.
It's not
Is-
necessary to
Is a
wear
tie?
Excuse me?
wear a suit. Yes.
It's not necessary. As I told you, it's not necessary to be getting this jacket. You can just get a button t-shirt as my colleague Abdul Salam is wearing, or for example, the SG.
Is it necessary to wear a tie also?
No.
No.
Not really.
Personally, me, I think a tie would suffocate me, so I don't wear ties.
A lot.
Exactly.
But as you can see here, my delegate Saif, my colleague Saif Luai and Abdullah,
Yeah.
I mean, Abdullah is the SG. He has to be the perfection. But Saif Luai is like, yeah.
Okay, so
Would
does
you
anyone have any
consider-
questions?
Yes. Would you consider a bow tie to be formal or no?
Yeah.
Bow tie.
What are you saying?
Bow tie.
You can come in a bow tie, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's fine.
Cufflinks are fine too, by the way.
Okay.
Alright,
Any
thank
other questions left?
Please don't hesitate to ask.
Exactly.
Even
When will you
SG
be
himself
sending?
stood up to us, so come on.
When will you be sending the recording of this meeting?
Right after this meeting.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'll get to work on it.
With the PowerPoint.
Also, even if you want to ask what my country is, please do so now.
Yeah, please, and if you face any issues, if you have any questions after the meeting, please don't hesitate to ask your chairs or ask the SG.
Yes.
I will be right back.
Seeing that there are no questions.
Well, all
no
right,
questions
delegates. All right, delegates. I just want to mention a couple of things. Obviously, don't want to keep you for so long. Please, first of all, one of the main points I would consider for delegates is firstly, don't panic. You don't need to stress about MUN. Trust me. I remember me for my first MUN. I was panicked actually. I was panicked and stressed out. But trust me, it doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it because everything was new to me. I didn't understand the concept of MUN. I didn't know what's MUN. But the key point was realizing what's MUN.
Guys, please keep track of your questions on this chat. The meeting is recorded. Sorry for disturbing, please.
Yeah, please stay maintain formality, please. Basically, it doesn't worth it to be panicked about it or stressed out. So the key point here is to understand the whole concept of MUN, which I think all chairs did today. Well, we thank them all for their effort. So realizing what MUN was a key point for me to actually win the I believe best position paper from first my MUN. So always ask your chairs if you don't know if you don't know anything, and always try to speak up. Don't just mute your mic, close your camera, and sit down. Yeah, always try to speak up, share your thoughts. As the whole concept of MUN is to build up confidence and speak up. So yeah, basically just focus on these points. Good luck with your position paper. Hope you get.
Guys, also know that if you receive something as best 3 position paper, best delegate from the first MUN, know you're a true work harder. So you know the SG here is a hard worker.
Yeah, thank you, yes. And yeah, I wish you the best for the position paper. I think position paper, and see you all in the second training. And if you're asking about the second training, it will be next Friday. I believe it will be the 14th of January. The second training will be each delegate with his own committee, so it wouldn't be like this meeting.
Or like a mock session.
Yeah, it's a mock session.
I believe we could do a nice act of an actual conference.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we can.
Anyway, we can't wait to see you delegates in our committees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We're actually very excited to see you in the conference, and we all wish you the best of luck in your position papers resolution. And please, please, please don't hesitate to come ask us questions, and always know we're always here to support you.
Exactly.
If you have any questions, you can get to any chair you want and ask him the question.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Abdurrahman, now please just stop the recording.
Okay.
Yes.